Homeless shelter sticky notes, painted orange and black, are the means I have been granted before the next attack, to spread the thoughts and feelings, much like they spread my legs, upon the child on the floor, broken on display. They said his name was Aaron, or so the ghosts said in my brain, when the flood of memory came coursing through the veins. I was merely 7, and he was only 9, when the toll of bells for his name did chime. At least I'd like to claim that what killed him was the sound, though I know it was my boot which drove him to the ground. A gurgle in his throat, a blankness in the eyes. He had none left to look through, and still they rose to mine. To write a horror like this out in such poetic form reaffirms the notion that I'm an overeducated whore. And yet when I rocked myself into my sullen sleep, meditating on the blood that I swear still seeps, it hit me that within this frame of meter and of rhyme, I just might find the will to share this pain which transcends time. Someone inside cried a couple simple words when I first recalled this tragedy I hope my neighbors heard. A little voice it was who so jadedly proclaimed, from a group home he had ran, oh how the tears did rain. That's usually how they get us when from privilege we come. So many aughty kids, blessed when it's the gun that spills our life upon the floor, sometimes against the wall, though typically it's blade or torch for our sensitivities in thrall. The Necrosadist mafia of antisocial slaves, who find our wits outshine them from the earliest of age. I still recall the terror hollow round the eyes that could not contain the brightness before I gouged him blind. A thumb inside each socket. Was it the left one, then the right? A simple tug I gave them to appease the blight. Leering just behind me, that bloated beast of man, the one they trained my aching limbs to praise as dear old Dad. I'd like to say it was just he who provided the design. I could always pass it off as dissociative denies. But standing just beside him in my fractured mind, a witch in black with curdling laugh hovers to rewind the tapes they play for every child, butterflied or not, that say mother loves eternal from birth until we rot. How I'd love to place a flower on his grave, perhaps a daffodil or two in the grate that lines his cage. But if like him it's yet to dust, in it another soul's been laid. Now I've reached the place where I find to say no more might leave a crack inside the tertiary door of all who've dared to listen, yet I dare not ask, though to stop here might feel a failure in the task appointed to me by the whole that in this world makes my heart dull. I'm sorry, this is too painful. I'm gonna have to go back a verse. I got that slightly wrong. Let's see. Now I've reached the place where I find to say no more might leave a crack inside the tertiary door of all who've dared to listen, though I dare not ask. Yet to go silent here would feel a failure in the task appointed to me by the hole that in my chest makes this world dull, until with ink I carve the slate, Never mind, I've lost my edge. Those memories have hid behind the hedge, and to reach through fills me with dread, now that I've seen what lies ahead. Peaceful pastures, orchards bare. I pray to God it's still the tortoise who outlasts the hare. And yet, deep inside, I hear the cry who taunts that God's not there. Would it reassure you to learn his hair was blonde, though dirty like the edges of a sun-dried palm frond? Or how about his frame? Would it comfort you to know they never fed him much in that hellhole they called home? We like it when they're skinny. We like it when they're white. Perhaps it makes us think it was a fairer fight. At our last square of paper, it seems we've now arrived. I'd fold it up into a crane, but I fear a way it'd fly, like all the other kids who, startled by the shocks, swim with ether spirits flayed by each key and lock, turning, twisting in the air, writhing as if one. How I'd burn to give a turn before they've had their fun. Do you read my meaning? I'm not sure I do. I called his sister with my sense, but she just said, how could you?